Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and I am honestly nervous. And before I talk about what I'm nervous about, I just want to send a trigger warning. What I am nervous about does have to do with the economy and perhaps certain regulations that are going to be put onto trades and import and export. And anytime I talk about these things on the channel, I always get some nutcase who makes it a real like political thing. And it's really not the politics for me. It's just more so about how certain rules and changes are going to impact me as a consumer. That's really it. That's my only interest in all of this. But before I dive into that, I did just want to kind of show a November pickup that finally came in. Phantom Dust. This is a game that I got a really good deal on Mercari. I had actually sold a bunch of things on Mercari, and I still had some credit like on my Mercari account. And someone was selling this game for roughly around 30 bucks. So I thought it was a good deal. I heard actually a good amount about this game. I haven't watched that video that was like super huge and caused the price of this game to spike incredibly 2 years ago. I'm glad I wasn't looking for this game 2 years ago because it would have been way more than $30. I'm pretty sure this game peaked to over $100 at the height of its popularity. I think a lot of people are over it now, but it doesn't take away from it being a great game. I played a little bit of this game when I first got it, and I gotta be honest with you, man, the graphics on some of these Gen 6 games is really good. Like really, really good. Like the graphics on Gen 6 is nothing to sneeze at. And I'll just park it there. But getting into kind of what I'm nervous about, right? So what I'm nervous about is a lot of the trade talks and the building uh, tensions when it comes to trade and import from China. I think this is really important when it comes to like electronics and goods and things like that because there's so much tension and our administration hasn't even changed yet. Now, it's not necessarily about who's president, who's vice president. I really don't care. But when you start talking about tariffs and bans on exports to certain countries and bans on imports, really what it means for us, the consumer, is that either A, we're going to have less access to certain things, or B, the access that we will have to these things is going to go up. Prices are just going to shoot through the roof. Now, I don't know what these impacts are going to have on all electronics. I'm sure there'll be implications on like computer chips, but when it comes to like video games and things of that nature, I'm really just wondering what type of impact any potential trade wars will have on a collector's ability to collect physical media, to collect physical consoles and add-ons and things like that, and it just makes for a very nervous consumer. Now, myself in particular, I've been looking for a disk drive for my digital PS5, and I have not been able to find one. I think the last time I was in a GameStop that actually had one was the day of the PS5 digital release back in either October, I think that was. And when I was at the store, there was a huge line, and I want to say like two of the like five guys ahead of me bought the last two disk drives that they had in the store. And I didn't realize, at first I thought they were just buying like, I didn't realize why there was such a demand for it. But now that we're like 2 months, it's been 2 months. No GameStop that I've been to has heard of any announcements about them getting any shipments. In fact, most GameStop employees have told me that they're not going to know when they get a shipment of disk drives until they just show up. I've gone to Targets across the country, and no Target seems to have these disk drives. And I'm just like, well, what's the deal? And I know I've gotten comments from, some of the folks on the channel who have told me that, it's part of Sony's plan to move away from physical. So they're really not prioritizing these disk drives because they want everything to go digital. And I get all that. But I guess I'm at the point now between the lack of availability when it comes to the disk drive and now all of these talks about trade wars and tariffs and trade bans and things like that that I know are just going to make it even more difficult to get your hands on certain pieces of technology and equipment and media. I'm wondering if I should get the things that I need now before the year is over. And the challenge with that is that when you FOMO buy, you tend to overpay for things. Right now, an external disk drive, like on eBay and stuff, they're basically charging double the price. It's anywhere between 140 and 160, when the standard price for an external disk drive is like 79.99. So it's really difficult for me to pay up for this item, but I may not have a choice, especially if there are no plans to get more of these drives in stock. And I really have no clue, that no one can really give me an answer as to why um, Sony isn't providing consumers with more of these drives. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there is a big push to move the general audience into a digital direction and get them to, download more than they do purchasing discs. But me personally, I mean, I'm still very much committed to getting the few games on the PS5 that I'm really interested in. Probably the first two games I'll pick up will be Stellar Blade and Spider-Man 2, because I still haven't played Spider-Man 2, never played Stellar Blade. And there are a few other games that a lot of you guys have recommended that I check out, including Astrobot, um, Final Fantasy Rebirth. I know some folks have recommended that I take a look at that. There's a few games that have been recommended to me. I know Ghost of Tsushima, as beautiful as it looks on the PlayStation 4, I can only imagine that Ghost of Tsushima will probably look even more beautiful on the on the PlayStation 5. So there's definitely incentive for me to pick up, a handful of physical games. It's just getting the device that I need to play them is the biggest thing that's holding me back. So um, I'm nervous. I'm not sure what's going to be happening in the next few months, and I'm honestly still trying to decide if here in the month of December I should just bite the bullet and get the pieces of equipment that I know I'll need going into 2025 when it comes to the PlayStation 5. I mean, it's either that or, I just go and get a PS5 Slim disc with the disc drive in it. Um, you know, when you look at paying 160 for just the disc drive versus paying, you know, 400 for the whole console, um, it's like, is the extra 240 worth it? Maybe. Maybe it will be worth it to just get a PlayStation 5 with the disc drive already built in, so I don't even have to worry about installing it and syncing it and all that jazz. And at least I know the disc drive will work without any type of internet. I don't have to worry about the internet aspect of it. And then I could just, plug and play, or at least it should be as plug and play as you can be in 2024 when it comes to playing these physical PS5 games. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys nervous at all? Are you guys super confident? Do you think prices for not only current gen games, but do you think video game prices are going to skyrocket? Or do you think they're going to stay the same moving forward? I'm watching different videos, and I'm listening to different economists, that some who are saying that, inflation just might balloon again, which is going to cause the prices for a lot of things to shoot up. If that happens, say goodnight, because we already know how expensive video games are, period. Not just retro games, but current gen games. It's all expensive. So if these things start to get impacted by prices, that can mean a lot. So maybe you want to grab some things while they're still relatively affordable. But that does it for me. It's the Y2K Collector. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And shout out to everyone who responded on my last video. I heard a lot of really great life accomplishments. A lot of you shared some of the things that you were proud of. A lot of homeowners and fathers and, those focusing on relationships. I heard, I saw some stuff about people prioritizing health and having success with their health. All of those things are great. And all of those things definitely are more important than video games. So shout out to all of you who responded, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.